2025. Welcome back to Corporate Talk. Coach Steady, how are you doing today?
Doing very well. I forgot my mic.
You forgot your mic, Coach.
Doing very well. Excited to be out here because I'm so comfortable. I'm good. I'm doing very well. Good to be back today.
It's good to
Hope
have
you can hear me well.
Yes, we can.
Great.
And we had such a great time last week, Wednesday, with Joseph Kafwariman. And guess what? He's back today.
He's back like he never left.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me again. It's a pleasure being here. It's always a blast.
Thank you for coming back. Joseph Kafwariman is CEO, Introspect Consult, and today we are talking authentic leadership in Zambia. I love that we are bringing this home and talking about the Zambian context.
Yes.
So I want us to get straight into it. We have a lot to tackle today. So, Joseph, again, welcome back. Let's begin with the basics. What do you personally understand by the term authentic leadership?
Thank you for giving me that chance to actually explain. You see, for me, authentic leadership is about leading from the inside out. It's not a performance. It's who you are. It's when your values, your voice, and your vision are aligned. You got to align your values, your voice, and your vision, right? For me, it's about showing up with integrity, even when it's inconvenient, right?
That's good.
It's being grounded, self-aware, consistent, whether you're leading a multinational bank, a political party, a church organization, a home. This is what I expect, and this is what I describe as authentic leadership.
That's great. And I think when you talk about authentic leadership, when I think we're having conversations about the topic today, and the key word is authentic, because most of the times people really walk away from what is authentic because they want to please everybody else.
Yeah.
And I think one of the biggest conversations to have in this country, and actually at this time, and that's why we put it out, authentic leadership in Zambia, is everybody's thinking about, I want to step up and be a leader. But unfortunately, you see most people that have not really done the work, because for you to be an authentic leader in a home, in a business, in an organization, in a political party, in a church, you have to walk into that element of being authentic and being able to step out and do the stuff that are really game changing for you to be able to influence the people that you lead. So this is really a big conversation, because I think it changes how we look at it. And I like how you put it when you spoke about showing up as you, not just like, a representative or a copy of what you're supposed to be.
Precisely, Coach. Precisely.
So, Joseph, you've spent more than 3 decades in corporate leadership. What gaps or even frustrations have you seen that made this topic urgent for our country today?
Yeah, we have many leaders with titles, but very few with truth. Yes? And this I've seen over the 3 decades you're talking about. Too often, we reward loyalty over leadership, you see, and visibility over values. I've seen people climb corporate ladders only to forget the people who helped them. We need a shift from managing impressions to building trust. And Coach did allude to this fact, It's very important that, if we're truly authentic, we'll remember the platforms that ushered us into these places.
Yeah.
And
true.
so being true does not, means that you are also cognizant of the fact that you stepped on giant's shoulders to be where you are.
Yes.
Okay?
Wow. I think when we were talking in the background, I was sharing a story about Friday. I was invited to do Smooth Talk, and I was telling you guys behind the mic, Ike calls me last minute and says, I thought I'd called you in the morning, so I want you to be on the show today. And it was late in the evening. Yeah. And I said, I'm going to show up, because I always remember, before any place gave me a platform, Smooth Ike gave me a platform to be on TV.
There you go.
And I like what you spoke about. We stand on the shoulders of giants, people that really paved the way. And the people that actually not just paved the way, when other people didn't open door for some of us, somebody else was willing to open the door and say, hey, here's the platform, get the platform, build what you're supposed to build. And I think when we create, success for ourselves as leaders, as we build what we build, we forget who really was influential. And that's also one of the things I tell people, that if I had never met my mentor, I wouldn't be seated here. If I never met, and I know sometimes people feel like, oh, it's just people, but God uses people to be able to create success for you. I know for a fact that if I never met my mentor, I would not sit where I'm seated today, because that's a person. I mean, I read as deep as I read because there was a leader who was showing the way, being authentic and telling me this, if you're going to be successful, this is the template. And sometimes when we go ahead in a corporate space, you've got big titles, you're sitting in bigger rooms, you forget where you really started the journey and the process of who you're supposed to be and who you should lead and be the person that you're supposed to be. So I think for me, that's a key one.
And for me, really, I test by when a man or a woman says they are self-made. I know they're lying.
But that's a term everybody's using
self-made.
over and over. Self-made. I mean,
What
why,
does
where,
that
when do you say so? I mean, is it possible for you just to explain deeper? Because everybody is, I think we are obsessed about self-made.
You know, this comes from the inability to be self-aware and understand that to make progress, we need others. And there's people that are beneath us, people that are above us, and people that are with us on the same plane that actually elevate us to these rooms. Take this room, for example. This is your show. Why am I here? I'm from Introspect.
Yeah.
And so if I don't recognize this as a portal for elevation, then I'm not truly authentic.
Wow. But why are people so obsessed about self-made, really?
Man is innately selfish. So you want to be the only person in the room buying the drinks, so to speak. You want to be the only one they consult when there's a funeral. You want to be the biggest buyer in the room. And so that's the problem. So we forget that success is built via collaboration, built via somebody says, oh, I heard of Monique, I heard of Coach Steady, try them. And so when we realize that alone we cannot achieve a lot of these things that we do achieve, we then become authentic, and it's a step in the right direction.
Wow. That's a good one.
Yeah, thought-provoking.
Exactly. I have many questions, but I'll let it go for now.
Joseph, walk us through the key traits of authentic leadership as you see them in a Zambian context.
Look, self-awareness is what I talked about. It's number one, very cardinal. Knowing your values, knowing your triggers, more importantly, and your blind spots, right?
Blind spots.
Yes.
Especially that.
So number two is relational transparency. What I mean there is speaking honestly without manipulation. Number three is balanced judgment, listening to diverse views before making decisions, right? It's not a weakness, all right? It's one of the very, very core principles of actually being authentic. Then there's moral compass, doing right even when it's costly. Purpose and legacy, leading for impact, not just income. Last
That's a big one.
Yeah, last week I talked about a lot of us going to these jobs because of income.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, those are my
And I think
steps.
it's interesting because you've been in the corporate world for over 29 years, and I think you spoke about a point about really it's not about the income, it's about the impact. And as I do corporate training, one of the things that really breaks my heart is most people are on the income side than they are on the impact side. So even when they're bringing into your space, they're always discussing the money. They're not having a conversation. What will this product help us do, and how are we going to achieve the things that we are supposed to achieve? And it's the same thing about people getting the cheapest quotation because it looks cheap.
Yeah, and later finding out the chip is expensive, right?
Yeah.
Very thought-provoking.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about relational transparency. How does a leader balance being open without being overly exposed or even coming across as weak?
Yeah, I did talk about it. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's strategic strength. That's what I call strategic strength. You don't share everything. No, you won't. But you share enough to be real. Okay? When leaders acknowledge challenges or admit missteps, yeah, it builds trust, not doubt. So yeah, you know, you can be vulnerable, but I'm saying do not expose everything, but enough for you to be real.
But that's a tough one. Like really creating the balance is really the tough one for a leader.
Yeah.
How does one really navigate? Like, how much is too much
Okay.
transparency as
look,
a leader?
Look, when you make a promise, which you know you have not met,
Yeah.
own up, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we have hit 50% of this promise, but I need your help to fulfill the balance.
Yeah.
Is that a weakness? No.
It's not.
It makes you authentic. It makes people say, okay, so if my boss, who is the top of the ladder, is able to speak like this, then he wants progress.
Yeah.
So you cannot live your life lying your way through.
Yeah.
These things expose you very, very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. And I think one of the things I also see when we're talking about leadership is self-awareness. And I think I see it in many places. I see people that have got very big titles but almost zero self-awareness. What's the work that a leader really needs to go into? Because I feel like as you lead people, and then also just being transparent, I think the anchor word is really the self-awareness when you're talking about leadership. How are you doing with being self-aware? Because I meet so many leaders with big titles that I would never want to trade places for. They drive the best cars, they live in the best homes. I don't want to trade places with a leader like that because you don't have the self-awareness.
So your initial question is, how do what? Let's go.
It's about more about self-awareness. Yeah.
Yes, self-awareness pretty much begins with understanding your own personality.
How many leaders do that?
Unfortunately, very few. Okay, many leaders have had access to tools like the Harrison Assessment Tool, which introspect users, Myers-Briggs, and all those things. But a lot of them haven't understood why they should know their personality. They should know their personality because in there they know their weaknesses. They also know their strengths, right? And they are comfortable with the fact that, oh, so this strength or this weakness is not because I'm failing to do the job. It's a personality trait. And so what do I need to do to perfect it?
Oh,
number
wow,
one,
that's a good one.
number one, I can be more educated in that area. And number two, I can choose a team that has a strength where my weaknesses lie. and so in the end you realize it's a win-win game you're actually focusing on. And we do this quite a bit with the corporations, and we see from the point we do this, the self-awareness then steps into the space of work, and I can see the numbers going forward that people are actually leading from an authentic point of view. Yeah. So yeah, it is that, Coach. I don't know whether you have anything else to say.
I really have so many questions, but I was just holding back.
And yet, we see so many people who have so many insecurities with having a team that is more knowledgeable.
I was actually going to
more
ask
knowledgeable
that.
than the leader. Why feel insecure if somebody is more knowledgeable, has more of a skill set, and they can get the job done effectively?
Monique, you just hit it there, right there.
Yeah.
The fact that a leader can be insecure means they are not self-aware.
Yes.
A leader doesn't have all the answers to every problem.
Yeah.
There's a reason you are sitting where you're sitting. Mr. Javula cannot do the job you're doing to the perfection you're doing.
And he actually tells us.
Thank you. There is authenticity right there.
My role is not here in front of the mic.
No.
So you guys be in front of the mic. I'll do what I do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it even shows that he's actually quite uncomfortable doing
yes,
your job.
Yes.
And so that's a leader who understands themselves and therefore brings talent that can do stuff better.
Yes.
You see, you have to reward that talent to keep it.
Yeah.
And for you to have been in this place for this long, it means he's doing a good job.
The laughter says,
Indeed.
the laughter says, the laughter cannot be quoted or misquoted. I also like the fact, I always use this story. I'm a very obsessed John Maxwell person. I buy everything that John Maxwell writes. You know, anything that John Maxwell does for the last 15 years of my life, because I'm passionate about leadership. I enjoy learning about leadership. He tells a story that is very powerful that I keep saying and I don't mind repeating. He says in his season of his life, he was going through a difficult time, John Maxwell, and he went to his friend and I said, my friend, right now I can't be able to run my organization because I'm going through a season in my life and I would want you to take it up. And when I'm ready, I'll come back and we can have a conversation for me. And he says, years later, he went back to his friend and said, my friend, I think I'm ready to pick it up. And his friend said, with joy, I'm willing to hand it over back to you. And the organization was maybe 5 times more than it was. There was no war. There was no fights. There was no fighting. This is my baby. This is mine. When you're a leader that is authentic and you move in your space, you know when to say, I'm battling in this space and I need help. Can I find somebody who's good enough to be able to help me? And that's why I love coaching, and which I also don't see most Zambian leaders don't do. Because when you have a good job and you have a title, you feel like you've arrived. You feel like you don't need help. You don't need mentorship. You don't need friends that you spoke about blind spots, which is also a bigger thing. Certain friends that have been able to say, they've gone ahead and they know certain things you don't know. You may have a title, you may have a good job, but certain things you don't know as a leader. So you have to be willing to say, guys, I need help. How can you help me? How can you help me build what I'm supposed to build and do without feeling shame?
And you see, with true authenticity, you actually can, test it out in many places. When you're an authentic leader, even when you lose the title, the goodwill around you is so massive.
It's true. That's very true.
You don't fall with a thud on the ground. You have a lot of people and networks, as a net for you.
That's powerful.
You will never go hungry.
That's very powerful. That's very, very powerful. That's powerful.
Now, Joseph, what are some common leadership behaviors in Zambia that look like leadership but actually aren't? They aren't authentic. Let's name them.
When you're over controlling your team, that is not authentic leadership. Saying yes to everything so you stay liked is not being authentic.
Yes.
When you use fear to manage people, you're not authentic. Prioritizing optics over substance. These are not signs of strength. They are red flags. Yeah. Those are
You also say that charisma without character is dangerous. Just expand on that.
You see, you can charm a crowd, but still be corrupt. Okay? Charisma may get you followers, but character keeps them. All right? In Zambia, we've seen leaders fall not because they lacked talent, but because they lacked truth. That's all I'll say.
And I'll give something. When you were mentioning some of the key things, one of the things I tell people and they laugh is, I said, one of the reasons why I don't feel like I'm a politician, because I feel like I would be a one-term president, because I don't think I would be that famous.
And you are being true to you. Right?
Very self-aware.
You need to be self-aware. Stand for the truth. If something is going to take 20 years to fix, say it.
Exactly. and I would be that leader because I'm going to tell you and say, guys,
don't hold back.
I will tell you. So I don't think I would be too famous because I'll be able to tell you my truth. And I always say Zambia is going to change when Zambians are ready for good leaders. I feel like sometimes we complain about the type of leaders we have, whether it's in the corporate space or in the political space, is we really set a big platform for leaders to be fake. You don't allow leaders to be able to say, guys, if we're going to build this, it's going to take us 20 years. Are you willing to go with me? And trust me, somebody will come and say, we can do it in 6 months. And guess what?
Right.
Zambians will follow. I can bet you. They will say, we are going with 6 months because we have no time to do 20 years. So I don't think I would be a good fit in the political space to be able to do what we're supposed to do. And I think I like the aspect of being self-aware, but also speak your truth as a leader. Because there's a quote I love that says, "There's no pillow as soft as a clear conscience."
That one.
I want to sleep. I don't want to feel like if I promised you 20 years and I lied and I gave you 6 months. So I think leaders need to really understand when you're going to lead, you need to be at that space.
Yeah, whatever you say should be backed up by a roadmap anyway. So
Yeah.
if you say 6 months, give us a roadmap
Yeah.
that shows 6 months. If it's doable, that's fine. Remember, we set SMART objectives for a reason. They must be specific, they must be measurable, they must be achievable, they must be realistic. That's the R. And they must be time bound.
Yeah, true.
And so, you see, the problem we have is that sometimes the led force the leaders to be a certain way.
Now address that, because that's a good one, because we always hit the leaders hard, but we don't speak about the led.
Why this is even a bigger issue, because it's a cultural issue.
Yeah.
Where we are brought up to be listeners and listeners only. You see, from the family unit, if daddy speaks, nobody will say, "But daddy, how did you make that decision?" All right. Yesterday I was in school with my girls. I've got twin girls looking for their school, and I asked a question in the group of parents. And later on, my daughter asked me, "So, daddy, what was the value of that question you asked?" I explained. The question really was, I have a set of twins.
Yes.
Is there a policy if they go into boarding that they must sleep on different rooms?
Okay.
You know, in classrooms, should they be in separate classes?
Okay.
So she was asking, so what was the relevance of that
that.
question?
Yeah.
So after explaining, she goes, "Yeah, I get it now." So now I flash back to when we were growing up. and so you see, that's
Commander-in-Chief.
Culturally, we have not encouraged our family members
Right.
to conversate with us.
Yes.
So everything should be a conversation. The head of state right now says, "Let's have a conversation." Why is he saying that?
Yes.
Let's have a conversation. So meaning that he can be challenged.
Right.
Somebody says, "Let's have a conversation." It doesn't mean that you have to agree with his points.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
But-
for your daughter to ask you that, it means you have provided her with an environment that is conducive. Where
Correct.
she feels safe. She feels free
Yes.
to challenge your thought process.
So it's a chicken and egg situation, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes children must test out. The followers must test out by challenging and see what happens.
Right. Yeah. That's me in every meeting here.
Oh, really?
But what?
but,
But how?
You have been brought up well.
but unfortunately, most of us Zambians don't like people like
And
you.
I'll tell you that it is it's quite surprising to see, even in organizations, you know, where adults feel quite timid, they feel reserved, they feel, you know, afraid to challenge a status quo,
Yes.
to bring forth their ideas.
Right.
In a boardroom, where else will your
Wow,
ideas come
that's-
through?
Yeah,
if not here?
true. That's very true.
You know?
Interesting perspectives there.
Yeah.
And these are real things. As a nation, we need to wake up. A challenge should be done respectfully.
Yes,
Don't use words that are unpalatable.
exactly.
Words that will land you in trouble. Your own words land you in trouble. And what you said there is actually biblically supported. Ask and it shall be given. Knock and the door shall be opened. Seek and you shall find. Are we seekers as a nation? Do we research? Do we ask the right questions?
Yeah.
Because when you ask, you have to be answered. Yeah? Okay.
Wow, that's a good one.
Imagine we are out of time.
But here's what I'm gonna say. It's good we are out of time so people can register for the corporate summit.
Absolutely.
Because you spoke about it last week. So
Yes.
he's coming to the corporate summit. And this is gonna be sessions after sessions. So if you wanna be part of this year's
As well as question and answer session.
Yes.
If you want to ask Mr. Kafwariman some questions, he'll be there to answer.
And
Now,
there will
also-
be real,
Yes.
unfiltered
Yeah.
answers.
Now let me also make a point. I'm sick and tired of leaders that don't go to trainings and workshops. They send their juniors. During question and answer session,
Yeah.
make sure you as the leader
Yeah.
and your juniors are in the master classes so that we can break that barrier of Winemu Shipantanchi and other people can't really have a conversation. So please register for the corporate summit. You can send us a WhatsApp or give us a call on 076 4422 000, 076 4422 000. So you can send a WhatsApp or give us a call, or you can send an email, info@thecorporatesummit.com, info@thecorporatesummit.com. So it's going to be this year. So register your team, sponsor, or come and exhibit your products and bring in your team, because I think I'm so excited about just seeing people become better alongside their leaders and their juniors, their managers and supervisors. And we need to do it for the country.
True.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. I am looking forward to the corporate summit.
It's going to be amazing.
Excited.
It's going to be real.
Thank you. Joseph, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me again.
The best of mid-morning radio.